Okay, so today our topic is going to be the palpation of peripheral pulses, as we already know, and you would have already read about it in DAS and other medicine practical manuals. We are palpating the dorsalis pedis, the anterior tibial, the posterior tibial, the popliteal, the femoral, the abdominal aorta, the subclavian artery, axillary artery, common carotid, superficial temporal arteries. Yeah, you already know the landmarks and the bony landmarks and against which you need to palpate. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to basically discuss about certain tips and tricks that I've learned from my professors in the surgery department, especially Tejaswini Vallabhamam. And okay, here it goes. So one thing that you need to remember is that while you palpate the anterior tibial artery, which is in between both the lateral and the medial malleoli, okay, you should not go too high up. The mistake I was making was I was going too high up. You should be more and more nearer to the ankle joint, a bit lower, at the junction of the leg and the foot. There is where you should be. You shouldn't go too high up, okay? Otherwise you won't feel it. And similarly for the posterior tibial, if you go higher up, it will be perforating the fascia and it will be entering into the deeper spaces. So you need to be as close to the ankle joint as possible, okay? And you shouldn't go that high up, okay? Next, we're going to talk about the popliteal artery, which is one of the most difficult arteries to palpate, but it could be made easier, okay, if you make the patient prone. So once the patient becomes prone, okay, you are going to roll up his pants all the way above the knee joint, okay? You expose the popliteal fossa, and then what you're supposed to do is, with one hand, you're going to support, imagine this to be his leg and this cap here, okay? I'll just change the cap. And this cap here, okay, is supposed to be the foot. Now what happens is, you're going to his foot will be hanging down here. You're supposed to, what do you say, support, okay, the weight of his entire limb on your hand. And this is the most important and crucial step. Unless and until he does not leave all his weight on your hand, okay, his muscles won't be relaxed and his popliteal fascia will be taut, so it won't be easy for you to palpate the popliteal artery. Now how do you do that is, first of all, how do you check whether the patient has completely relaxed his muscles or not? So the one way to check is, you go into the popliteal fossa, palpate on the lateral and the medial side of the popliteal fossa, feel for the tautness of the muscles, palpate in the popliteal fossa itself, feel for the tautness of the fascia. As long as it's not loose, it will be very difficult to palpate the artery because it will be pushed deeper. The second thing that you need to remember is, while palpating the popliteal artery, is you need to first of all palpate the lateral and the medial heads of the gastrocnemius, okay? So you go to the lateral side of the popliteal fossa, the medial side of popliteal fossa, feel for the lateral and the medial heads of the gastrocnemius, and then in the middle you go, exactly in the middle, slightly up in the popliteal fossa, you'll be able to feel the artery, okay? That's the second tip. And the third tip is that how much do I need to elevate the leg? See, one hand will be feeling for the popliteal. Imagine this hand to be feeling for the popliteal artery, and this is the one supporting the entire weight of the lower limb, and ask the patient to relax his limb. So how much should I elevate, okay, in order to feel for the popliteal artery? The books say 30 to 50 degrees, but actually the angle does not matter. Why? While palpating, it could go all the way up to 90 degrees as well. Like, you just place your hand, okay, and as long as you don't feel the artery, you could go on raising or lowering the leg, okay? So it's a trial and error basis, hit and trial method, yeah? And that's one thing. And another mistake which most of the people do is that they tend to hook the artery. Like, what they do is, suppose these are your palpating fingers, they'll be trying to press the arteries at 90 degrees. So you'll be actually pushing the artery into a deeper plane, and you won't be able to palpate the popliteal artery. So that makes it difficult. Some people, what they do is, instead of palpating it this way, okay, this is the ideal method of palpation, when your distal interphalangeal joint is hyperextended, okay, and you feel it with the pulp. You should never palpate it this way. Hyperextended, you feel it with the pulp of the fingers, you'll be aramse able to feel the thing. Some other mistake which people do is, they'll hook the artery and they'll pull it towards itself. Another wrong method. That also won't work, okay? So these are some of the tips to palpate the popliteal artery. Yeah, then we have the femoral artery, which is palpated 0.5 centimeter inferomedial to the mid-inguinal point, and that's pretty easy to find out because it's a large caliber vessel and good volume pulse as well. Yeah. Then these were the tips for popliteal artery. Now, some new things that I've learned today about palpating the pulses. Okay, so there's something like if you want to palpate the right hand pulses of the patient, use the examiner should use his right hand. Left limb pulses, the examiner should use his left hand. So suppose if I'm examining a patient's right hand, how do I write radial pulse? I have to use my right hand. I have to hook it all around. Okay. Now this hooking that I'm doing, right, it's gonna act as a support for the limb also, and it will be flexing my metacarpals, extending my what do you say? It will be extending my proximal interphalangeal joint and hyperextending my distal interphalangeal joint, and obviously I'll be able to get a good radial pulse, and that too I'll get it on the pulp of the fingers here. Yeah. Now see, the important part is you don't feel it with this. You feel it with this part of your finger. Yeah. So that's the place from where you want to palpate. The second thing that you need to know is, like, how do you palpate the radial artery? 3 fingers to be used always. Now there's something like, whenever you want to see if this is my radial artery here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my 3 fingers, right? And then I'm going to give a press. Okay, I'm going to give a press for 1 or 2 seconds, and then I'm going to gently release it. I won't lift my fingers off the skin, but I'm gently going to lift off. Okay, I'm not going to lose contact with the skin surface. I'm gently going to lift off, and then with that you get to know the amplitude of pulse. And once you get to know the amplitude of pulse, you actually get the confidence that you have located the artery, and you'll be able to time it properly. And one mistake which I kept making again and again was I used to count from 1 to 30 in Hindi and then 30 onwards, because I don't know the counting. I used to count in English. So that thing also, you could miss pulses and all of it. So better to count in one language, which like from 1 to 100, whatever. The entire 1 minute that you count, make sure you count it in one language. Okay? Otherwise, we'll miss the pulses, or you'll get confused and you would have to repeat it again. Okay? And why it's important to palpate it for 1 minute is because I have seen 2 or 3 cases here in our hospital itself, wherein the 4th or the 5th beat, okay, it might be missing actually. The pulse may be missing. So in those cases, you're going to suspect some conduction blocks, etc. So there are a lot of conditions that you need to suspect, and therefore it's very important to actually go for it. And it's important also at least to do a radio-radial and a radio-femoral and femoral-femoral, bifemoral. So all these rhythms you need to compare on bilateral sides. It's very important. Yeah. Feeling okay. Next. One of the biggest problems that I have faced, and luckily I have a solution to that, is that I used to feel my own capillary pulsations at the pulp of my fingers. Now, what's the reason for that and how to avoid it? So one of our PGs here, Siddharth sir, he has told a simple trick. Like you take any hard surface, suppose the table you're sitting on, just press it. Just hardly press it. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. You'll be able to feel your own capillary pulsations at the tip of your fingers. So the harder you press, actually, you'll be actually feeling your own pulsations. You won't be feeling the patient's arterial pulsations. So that needs to be avoided. So how to avoid it? You need to have a gentle palpation. You shouldn't press it deeper. Yeah, you need to press it gently. Okay. Next. What about the 3-finger concept? And what happens is we have 3 fingers that we use for palpation. Obviously, the middle finger is to feel the pulse. The first finger is to prevent the backflow. Now, what is this backflow concept exactly? Like, see, if this is the radial artery here, right here, and we are palpating the radial. Okay, imagine. Okay, just for the ease of it, this is the radial artery, and I'm palpating it. Now we'll be applying pressure, obviously, to feel for the pulsations. And when you apply pressure, the arterial blood which is actually coming up will backflow. To prevent that, we have a proximal finger which will be applying gentle pressure to prevent the backflow. Yeah. And then there's this proximal finger, right? I mean the distal finger. What does this distal finger do? One is it will fix the artery, okay, where you want it, and there's a second thing as well, and it's also to feel for the volume, the rate and the rhythm. Yeah. The rate is with the middle finger, and the volume and etc. The vessel wall character that you want to see. Now the vessel wall character also, you could actually use the proximal and the distal fingers, just roll it over the vessel, and this you must try it on those patients who are hypertensive, chronic hypertensive, so they'll be having sclerosed blood vessels. So once you roll over, you'll feel a cord-like structure. Make sure it's not the tendon you're palpating, it's a vessel that you're palpating, yeah? Because sometimes you might actually mistake a cord for a blood vessel. So it'll almost have a cord-like consistency, you should make sure. So that you'll find in chronic hypertensive patients. So this was the three-finger concept and the vessel wall, which will get sclerosed, atherosclerotic, long-standing hypertensive cases. Yes, so I think this, with this background or with these tips and tricks, you should be able to palpate the peripheral pulses more better. And obviously, the more you practice, the better you get. Yeah. So, thank you and have a good day.